welcome back to Two Bored Ladies. We've got Karen here and Angie.
Hey.
Hey. Caught you mid-sip.
Yep.
And yeah, so we're back for episode 4. And we would like to start off this week by maybe giving a little shout out to some of our followers on Spotify and YouTube as well.
Absolutely.
And, it's not one of those, I always feel kind of, like and subscribe. But we do have some people that are doing that, and I want to say how exciting it is for me when we get those little analytic reports from Spotify and YouTube saying, you've got people listening in Ireland,
Spain,
England,
yeah,
and Canada.
We should also mention big news: 100 streams on Spotify.
Yeah, baby!
Whoop, whoop.
Keep it up, people. Pass it along to your friends.
Please.
This might be a retirement plan.
Might.
Yeah. What is it? Spotify says you have to have, 10,000 hours? You have to have 2,000 streams.
And 12 episodes.
And 12 episodes, something like that. So we have a ways to go. So if you want to share, tell your friends and family,
Yeah, or
how
if you know
great we are.
10,000 people,
Exactly.
shoot it out there.
Yeah, but they have to listen.
Well,
I think you have to listen
yes.
60 seconds at least.
Minimum.
Yeah. And then maybe we'll get in. Yeah. Then we might get some money out of this, and one day we'll retire.
But I mean, we're doing it truly for the joy.
We are. But
Whatever.
if we made a couple of bucks along the way,
Not going to complain.
no. You're not going to turn away free money.
No.
Doing something you enjoy.
Never. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so maybe we'll have a little shout out. So we talked about the shout out to the people following us. We've got some commenters. I've noticed that we have a few people that comment on
Regular.
most episodes.
Yes.
All 3 of them that have been out so far. We've got Jenny.
Yes.
Jenny had recommended that we watch the TV show The Pit. So I did do that. I looked at it. What Jenny didn't say was that it's not all released yet. And so I'm now waiting week to
Jenny.
week. So that you
Boo.
could have given me a heads up on that.
Is
Jenny.
it spooky like The Fall? Both shows
No. It's
have
like
2
ER.
words.
It's
Yeah,
ER.
you told me that. Noah
Yeah,
Weil.
it's like Noah Wiley is in it.
Wiley,
And
yeah.
he's so good. He aged like fine wine.
Oh, yeah?
Fine wine. Yes. And you know what? He's got a beard.
I don't know if he's got a chiseled jaw now.
But he's looking good. Yeah, so I did that. And who else have we had commenting?
Brienne,
Brienne,
she,
yes.
has kindly commented on each of our episodes as well.
Yeah.
And she recommended, so she had some similar taste to myself and my family along the lines of The Office. So Modern Family, Brooklyn Nine-Nine,
Yeah.
New Girl. And so our family has crushed both Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Modern Family. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is one that comes up regularly too when we're just looking for something to play in the background. Modern Family, did it go off of, I feel like maybe it left one of the streaming services, which is why we didn't go back to it again. But yeah, that's also, it's like,
It's a good
you
one.
can't see me, but
Yeah.
I'm giving one of these, which
Yeah,
again, you still can't see.
But it's like, what do you call that? An A-OK?
Okay symbol, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really good. Actually, that makes me think of another show, Life in Pieces. I don't know if you ever watched that,
It sounds familiar.
but it was like 3 seasons maybe, and it feels like it ended abruptly and it could have kept going. That's another gooder along the same
Okay.
vein. But anyway, I don't want to digress too far. So who is our other?
We have
regular
Neve.
comment? Yes.
Yes, and Neve has also, it looks like Neve is in England, and because Neve is recommending some British shows as well.
Yes.
And then I think she recommended Gavin and Stacey,
Yes.
and that is one that I've actually seen snippets of, and one I've thought I would like to see, because James Corden is in it.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
and do you remember before he started Carpool Karaoke? Well, there was a bit, and this is where he got the idea, from this show, they did the Red Nose Relief Day. You know how, I don't know if in England they have like a, it's like a big fundraiser, Red Nose campaign, and so a lot of different celebrities do different things, but he was in a car and he was picking up George Michael, and then they were driving together trying to get someplace, and then they started singing some of the songs. So I think that's where the idea of the whole carpool karaoke came from. So yeah, I found it on BritBox, so I'm definitely going to have to get to that soon. I still have a few too many shows to go through right now, but I will get get to that one, Eve. So thank you for that recommendation.
Yes, and I think we failed to consider one other person who also listens and comments regularly, and we'll be hearing from her a little bit later in the show.
Yes, our first guest.
Yes, it's our good buddy Brenda.
Brenda, who likes the
Yes.
of the Coke pouring over the ice. Yes, not the Pepsi, but the Coke.
Yeah, specific. Boo.
Yeah,
whatever. Unless Coke wants to sponsor us, in which case
I might convert.
I might try it.
Oh, I don't think I could.
No, I know.
I'm sorry, Coke.
So gross.
But you know, I like Canada Dry Ginger Ale, and that's bottled by Coca-Cola, so I would support them with Canada Dry Ginger Ale. Yeah.
Fair, I think that's
way
fair.
better than the Schweppes Ginger Ale.
Agree.
Yeah.
And when you're in Egypt and you tell people you're from Canada, all you're going to hear about is Canada Dry.
Seriously?
That's all they know. Canada Dry!
All right.
So yeah. All right. Well, I think I think really the whole point of bringing up this stuff is just to recognize, like, we really, really appreciate the people who are listening to us, whether it's once or multiple times, and taking the time to comment. It means a lot to us.
Oh, it's super exciting.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to let you know, I've never really commented or anything on Spotify before, but what I've heard is that you can't necessarily reply to comments, or you can't do as much. So we are on YouTube as well.
Yep.
So if you would like to do a little bit more, then Spotify can allow you to. I believe you can go on there. And yeah, what's to say? Like and subscribe. Ring the bell.
Ring the bell. Follow us. On our still non-existent Instagram account.
Yes. Yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah, one thing at a time.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So I guess that takes us to everybody's favorite part
Yes.
of the show, weekend review.
Yeah.
So wiggity, weekend review.
You changed it up.
Every week, something new. I want people to come
Oh,
back.
what's it going to be this week? Awesome.
Oh, God.
All right, so how was your week?
Oh, so I guess technically for us, it's the last 2 weeks in review.
Has been, yeah.
So, yeah, I missed that last week's posting of our podcast because I was out of town for work. Which was, I don't want to take up a whole bunch of time with it, but it was a pretty monumental work trip for me. I'd been off work for quite some time, and then came back and, easing into things in our small town, but I had to travel down to our big city headquarters. I think it was kind of like the last hurdle for me mentally to get back into the swing of things. And not surprisingly, everyone was so incredibly kind and supportive and happy, and there were so many hugs. And so I think from a love and a heart perspective, it really filled my cup. I was effing exhausted. I slept for the whole weekend, essentially ditched you this weekend on Saturday night for games night, unfortunately. But yeah, so that was good. And then other than that, there was hockey day in town.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that was close again. But hockey day in town. So we had some local communities come in, and multiple age groups all playing hockey. It was just an incredible day. There was 6 or 7 games of hockey. There was an opening ceremonies. The kids from the school choir came in saying "Oh Canada," and then they had some of the figure skaters come and carry the banners for the teams as they came on the ice.
It was really cute.
It was really, really cute.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the kids had a lot of fun at that, and I think those are probably the main highlights of my week. How about yourself?
I had a pretty quiet week. I don't really have a whole lot to talk about, just regular work stuff and hanging out with the kids and Chris in the evenings. And that was pretty much it. I came and watched some of the hockey.
Yes, thanks.
Enjoyed that, cheered them on, got to see the opening ceremonies, got there in time for that. That was fun, and we cheered on Alistair, who did good. And it was just really cute to see, because I don't come down to the hockey games all that often, so it was really nice to see the little ones get out there and do their stuff. And those poor goalies, right?
The one
kid on the one team, it was no fault of his own, but the other team was just
not.
that much stronger, and he got yeah, he got hit on a lot, and I just felt for him, like, and it's just like, I mean, good learning opportunity, but like he was exhausted.
Oh
like,
man, when he just perched up against the crossbar there, and then needed to use the crossbar to pull himself up.
Exactly.
And,
Oh, all I was thinking was like, that would be me. Like
110%.
totally that would be me.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
One other thing I just wanted to touch base on, because I think maybe some of our viewers might also enjoy it, is what game did you play this Saturday night?
Oh, we played some sequence.
Yes.
We did. So, we do a regular games night, either on a Friday, Saturday night, where we get together with yourself and Roy, me and Chris, and then Brenda and Troy. And this weekend you dumped us. So when we do have two couples, we usually end up playing sequence. And Angie and Roy built me an amazing sequence board for my birthday. I actually sent pictures of it to my cousins because they've been playing it, who were introduced to it. So I introduced it to Mum and Dad. My mum and dad got totally hooked on it. I got it from Chris's mum and dad. They got me hooked on it, then passed it on to Mum and Dad. Then my uncle was visiting, Uncle and Aunt was visiting from Ireland. They loved it, and so they ended up buying a board, bringing it back to Ireland with them. And then their kids, when they'd come visit, they're all adults now, they would be playing it as well. So yeah, it's kind of spread out across the world a little bit.
And you got us on it big time, so I know that we have a great time playing it, and I look forward to the next game night.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll wrap up part 1, and then we're going to come back for part 2, and we're going to talk about...
Well, mystery. I'm going to list off some information at the start of the segment, and see if our listeners at home to themselves can figure out what we're talking about, and then we'll get into that a little bit deeper, and then bring in our buddy in the
Brenda.
segment following that to chat a little bit about her experience. So,
okay, awesome. So we'll take a break, and we'll be right back.
Attention collectors and enthusiasts looking for the ultimate custom collectibles? It's Patch Madness. Custom trading cards for sport to non-sport, relic cards, and even stickers. If you can dream it, we can create it. Reach out today at twoboredladies24@gmail.com for your personalized masterpiece. Patch Madness, where your passion becomes a code.
Welcome back to part 2 of episode 4 of Two Bored Ladies. Thanks for joining us today. So I guess we finished up segment 1, or part 1, whatever we want to call it. Gave everybody a little bit of insight into our week. Shout outs to some fantastic followers and listeners. And so now we'll move into sort of the main topic of our day, or our show anyway. So I'm going to read you a list of symptoms, Karen, and I mean, I guess obviously you have some insight, but maybe our listeners out there can give thoughts to what this might be. So physical symptoms. Heart palpitations, difficulty in sleeping, feeling tired or lacking in energy, feeling dizzy or faint, headaches, tinnitus, dry mouth and eyes, sore gums, muscle and joint pains, breathing difficulties, needing a wee more often, or having leaks of urine, vaginal dryness or soreness, more thrush, cystitis episodes, dry or itchy skin, thinning hair, poor sleep. Hold on, there's more.
Okay.
Psychological low mood, anxiety, feeling tense or nervous, memory problems, attacks of anxiety or panic, difficulty concentrating, loss of interest in most things, feeling happy or unhappy or depressed, crying spells, irritability, mood swings, loss of confidence, reduced self-esteem, brain fog, loss of interest in sex and or level of arousal, and then hot flashes and sweating at night.
All right, so when you ended on the hot
Yes.
flashes, I think it's safe to say we're talking about menopause or perimenopause.
Exactly. Yeah.
Definitely can relate to that. Do you know, here we go on a side tangent,
Yep.
Karen, when you started listing the topics, do you remember being in grade school in the 80s? Well, for me it was in the 80s, and there was, the AIDS outbreak, right? And when they would start giving all the symptoms to AIDS, so we had to study it. Everybody in the class was convinced they had AIDS because it was all like flu-like symptoms,
Well,
right?
it is so generic, right? Like I'm reading through this, and I'm like, that's my everyday.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, maybe I'm 45, right? But I mean, I also felt reading like that just now, like I was on an Ozempic commercial, reading the list of side effects that somebody's gonna have.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Like it's ridiculous. So I guess so where I was going by leading with that is just the breadth of impact this can have on a woman, and then the inability to properly diagnose just because the symptoms are so broad or general, right? So like some serious frustration in terms of trying to identify, what's going on, what's wrong with me. Our buddy, who's coming to join us soon, actually shared that itchy inner ear is one symptom of it, which wasn't listed on the list that I found. I'm not gonna lie, when she told me that, I was just like, holy fuck it. Every night, excuse my language, every night I spend I don't even know how many times getting up, itching my ear, going back down, and I'm just like, maybe that's why.
Maybe it is, yeah. There is one thing I was reading recently, and it actually came up at my last doctor's appointment, is, when I said how about the whole asthma thing came back, I don't know if I said that on air or not, but I had asthma as a kid, and I started noticing for the last few months I've been kind of wheezy. So when I was in the doctor's appointment for my regular checkup, he said anything else, and I'm like, well, I have this wheeziness. I don't know if it's just because I'm fat and I keep gaining more weight. I can't seem to control it. And is it just me being fatter causing me to have to work harder and wheeze? So he listened to my chest, and he's like, oh, we'll do an x-ray, and he says, you are a bit wheezy. He says, did you ever suffer from asthma? And I said, yeah, as a kid. And so he was like, yeah, it could be asthma. And I'm like, but why? And he says, well, it just happens. And so then I'm researching it, and yes, it more than one person out there, more than one woman has said that they've gotten asthma back as a part of their menopause.
Crazy.
I'm just like, what?
It's
the F?
It's not fair.
No.
Okay, so this isn't a bash men or feel sad because we're women type thing, but I do feel like this is not fair. Okay, because you get your period, you got pregnancy, you got motherhood, you got and then to end it all, or not to end it all,
the end of your life.
not the end of your life, but you know what I mean, to top it all off. Now I gotta deal with all this shit at this age, right? These are the years where we should be like, all right, we got all the hard stuff done. Let's just relax, enjoy ourselves. I'm thinking we should just be losing weight automatically at this age.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Or toning automatically happens, or I get faster.
I want to know why is all the things that make you feel good, why do they all hurt you in that, ooh, I love to just sit and curl up a movie,
oh yeah,
bowl of popcorn, throw some M&Ms in there, and somehow now I'm just going to get fat, right?
Yeah.
Why can that feeling not make me lose weight?
100%. But so I don't want to be, you know what, we're good enough friends, I feel like I could tell you this.
Yeah.
Exercise, I hear, will make you feel better and feel good and helps you lose weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why aren't the easy things?
Yeah.
Right, I was thinking about that the other day when I was eating vegetables, raw vegetables, which I enjoy, but my kids can't stand. And I'm like, what is it about eating a piece of pizza when they're kids and then being like, I really want in on that pizza, versus me eating a piece of broccoli and then being like, no, I could tell that sucks.
Exactly.
I don't
Unless
get
it's
it.
smothered in cheese.
Well, in which case, or ranch dressing.
Yeah, Lauren's all about the ranch. Lauren would drink the ranch bottle if I let them.
So, okay, so going back to menopause, or perimenopause, whichever.
Which is, I didn't know that perimenopause was a thing. It's really in the last couple of years that I've seen it. I don't know if it's just my ignorance and it's been there all along, or if it's become a newer term. But they say, from what reading I've done, and I love when people say they, it's just a they. Anyways, they say that the perimenopause is that you're not officially in menopause until you've gone a year without a period, right? So I am at the stage of my life where I can go months without one, and it's just surprise, hey, it's back. And then times when I have what I think used to be my regular symptoms, my lower back pain, and then feeling weepy, and then nothing happens, or I break out in spots and zits, and then nothing happens. I don't know.
It's bullshit.
It is.
I'm not there yet. I still get it. every month, but one of the symptoms of perimenopause is getting it more frequently.
Yeah.
And that I do. So now it used to be like a true 28-day cycle, and now I'm on about a 21.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's hell.
Oh.
It's like, come on, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'm taking that as an encouraging sign that
That you're on your
something's
way.
going to happen.
Oh,
So, what
I
other
don't know.
symptoms? So I shared about the itchy ear.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in a constant brain fog and forgetfulness, but I attributed that to my ADHD. But what do you find?
The brain fog is a big thing for me. And again, you saying you thought it was ADHD, I thought maybe it was because I've had some mental health issues. I'm on medication for it, which makes me function really well. I don't have crazy mood swings. I'm not depressed. I feel like this is the best for me and I am my best self at this moment on these meds, right?
Yeah.
But then I thought, well, maybe it's a side effect of those. Maybe it is some of that anxiety, depression kind of seeping through that's causing me to just have no brain, have no memory. I genuinely have no memory. And it's horrible. I literally, and it's more of the short-term memory,
Yes.
but then there's also long-term things that, the kids will be talking about something and I'm like, where was that? And they're like, Mom, you were there. And, they can remember something from they were 7 and 8 and I can't remember it.
I relate with you on the short, just tonight. So I'm helping out some of the board members, one board member, make costumes for the upcoming ice show.
Yep.
And so she's like, okay, so I just need these circles cut out and they're for the scarecrow hats. And I'm like, okay. So then somebody else comes down there and they're like, why are you cutting out circles? I'm like, I don't know. And then my friend's like, scarecrow hats? But I genuinely, I wasn't trying to be a dick. I wasn't trying to be funny. I'm like, I don't know, but they're brown circles and I'm cutting them out. This is my task.
There's so many times I'll be at home and, Chris will say, did you get this? Did you do that? Something I said I was going to do. And I'll say no. And he'll just look at me and I'm like, yeah, I don't remember saying that I would do it, for one. 2, it wasn't written down. 3, it was yeah, if it's not written down or if it's not repeated to me a number of times, there is no way I'm retaining that knowledge. Yeah.
No.
And it sucks, especially when you're still working and people are relying on you to retain information. I work in a position where I'm responsible for a lot of financials and whatnot, and I feel very stupid when people are asking me questions, where's the margin on this, or what were the results for that, and I'd be like, I'm gonna have to look that up, because I genuinely don't know. I can't retain that information.
Yeah, no, so I like that approach, though, of I'll have to look it up, right, or whatever, because, you can't be expected to remember everything, and there's a million things, but I'm finding that in addition to that, because you can, right, okay, I'll go look for that, but I'm in so in my role, I'm in meetings with a lot of the same people or reoccurring meetings, and I find it has me looking incompetent. And I take notes and I do my best, but in the moment, I don't know. And I worry, and I think it exasperates. There's this domino effect of I've got this brain fog, now I look incompetent, now I'm anxious about it, and it's just
Vicious cycle.
It really is,
Yeah.
right? And so whether that's attributed to whatever it's attributed to, it sucks,
It
right?
does,
So
yeah.
similar to yourself, I'm on some different meds. I'm on ADHD meds. I actually just got my med up today for that, in hopes that I was literally diagnosed with it. So
Yeah.
right, so I'm not just taking it for funsies, but to help with focus. I'm really genuinely searching for something that will help with that. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, I don't know, and it sucks because when you get to this age, oftentimes you've risen through the ranks at work, and on the back of being a strong performer and on top of everything, and then you get to this age, and it's almost like it's working. Well, it is. It's working against you.
Well,
right?
and I find that I've had to create new habits, new way of doing things. Now I'm a list maker. I didn't used to have to be a list maker.
Post-its everywhere.
Yeah, and it's somebody that I used to work with, she used to have tasks in her Outlook, and they would pop up, right? And so she would have all these tasks, and I found that a bit overwhelming. but then I have emails open and I don't close the email until I've dealt with it, right? And then she was like, that drove her crazy. She went on my computer one time and she's like, oh my God, there's so many emails open. I'm like, yeah, I'm keeping them until I deal with them. And sometimes I can have an email open because it's not a priority, but I still want to deal. I'll have that email open for 2 or 3 weeks. Wow. Like that's sad. That's really sad. But I think part of that though is that I do get caught up in things like I'm, the dog on Up, squirrel.
Yeah.
Easily distracted. That sometimes is me. Like it's very easy for me, and I don't think I have ADHD because I feel like this is more related to menopause. I wasn't always like that. But yeah, if I'm doing something and then somebody else comes in and needs help. Or even sometimes it's like I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. It's very easy for me to get distracted by something else, right? And so whether that's menopause or not, I don't know. But I mean, as far as the other symptoms, I deal a lot with. I don't get night sweats per se. I get sweats in general, where I could be sitting at the table having dinner with you, totally normal evening, and I will start like dripping sweat. Like I literally will have to take like hanky or something and wipe my face off, my forehead off, and my whole body's just on fire, and it's bizarre.
Like, it is like, and then if you're in a meeting or something, like how frustrating too.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, are you nervous? Why are you so sweaty? Yeah. So I have started being very upfront and open when I'm in a meeting. I answer to a board of directors when I'm in a meeting with them and they're asking me questions and something that maybe we talked at last meeting, and I'll be like, you know what, I'm really sorry, my memory is horrible, I can't, this is just the stage of life I'm in. I'm going to have to get back to you with this information because I'm not in the position I'm able to retain information. And then if I have sweating, or sometimes, I do get a bit of the palpitations, and so then it's almost like a bit of an anxiety attack, but it's not an anxiety attack. I'm comfortable, everything's fine, but you're coming across as shaky, your voice is shaking, and then you start to wonder. So I have been very upfront, and anybody that I'm interacting with, I'm like, look, this is what I'm going through. I need you to know that if you see me doing this is just what my body's doing to me at this moment.
Just carry on.
Carry on. Or even back in the day, when Chris and I would argue and whatnot, and I'm an emotional person, and so when you'd be having an argument, and it's like, I need you to ignore the tears and hear the words, right? Because I can't have an argument without crying, right? Well, I can now, but back in the day I couldn't. But yeah, so that was part of my thing. Like, it's just, your body is just, it's like it betrays you.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's working against you at every freaking turn. And then, never mind that, even if I was actively working out, you have to work so much harder to try to lose the weight at this stage of life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So,
I remember talking to the doctor about it, and I said, this is something that's bothering me. I'm gaining weight, and yes, I know, I'm very sedentary. I'm not very active, but what do I do? And he's like, Karen, and I hate to say it, but at this stage of your life, it's not about calories coming in and calories going out. He said it really is something you're going to have to fight for because of everything that's going on in your body. And I appreciate that he said that, but I also hate that if you go to the doctor, I always feel that it's whatever your ailment is at this age, it's just attributed to menopause, right? And maybe it's not.
Too,
I feel like, it's menopause, or I think it's menopause. I'm not going to ask about it because it's just menopause. But I think it's important that we do ask these questions.
100%.
A few years ago, I had a tremor in my thumb. Thought nothing of it, had it for months. When I just happened to be at the doctor for something else, he says, anything else you want to talk about? And I said, well, I've had this tremor in my thumb. So he examined me, sent me to your neurologist, and the neurologist told me I had Parkinson's. Now, it ended up that it wasn't Parkinson's. I had, it was a reaction to a medication I was on, and once that changed, it went away. But if I hadn't brought that up, and if it wasn't the medication, how long would I have dealt with that, before it would have been addressed? Because, you just put up with stuff, and I don't want to say as a mom or as a woman, because Kai's put up with plenty of stuff too. They won't get it addressed. But that's just we feel like there's this pressure where we feel like we just need to continue on and be tough.
Or that we're bothering the doctor, right?
Yeah.
So I just had an appointment today, and it was so refreshing where I was like, hey, I do have one more thing. And he was just like, that's what I'm here for. We got lots of time. Let's discuss it. And it was just, it's refreshing. And I'm not saying that, other doctors haven't been like that, but sometimes it just takes a little bit of encouragement and reassurance to be
Yeah.
like, okay, I am going to open up about these things that are on my mind, and whether they're big or small issues, at least I've addressed them and
Yeah.
I've brought them up, right?
And to have a doctor that can create a safe space for you is so important.
Yeah.
We're not all that lucky. Like, we've all had those, doctors that have brushed us off or made us feel stupid.
Yeah.
But I think, we're fortunate right now. We've got a few good doctors in town.
Oh,
and
there's one of your kids.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Reminding us of what we got to do. Thanks,
Yeah.
Lauren. All right, well, I guess on that note then,
Yep.
I'm excited. I know
Me
you
too.
are
We're
excited.
bringing our first guest.
All right.
Woo woo.
So when we come back for part 3, we'll
We're
be
going
chatting
with
with Brenda. All right, stay tuned.
Feeling stuck? At Coaching with Karen, we believe the answers you need are already within you. Whether it's life, wellness, or career guidance, Karen is here to help you uncover your path and move forward with confidence. Because a better tomorrow starts with the right support today. So visit us at coachingwithkaren@gmail.com to take your first step. And that's coaching with a K.
All right. Well, welcome back to part 3.
3.
3?
Yeah.
Okay, part 3 of episode 4. Are we going to keep naming the number in the episodes?
None if you don't want to.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Anyways, so we have Brenda with us here today. Brenda has joined us, and as we said, we're in the penalty box now.
Yes.
So, Brenda, oh, that didn't work. There she is, knocking her window down the box.
Brenda.
Bring her in. So, welcome to the Two Board Ladies podcast, Brenda. We're very excited because you are our first guest.
I'm so excited to be here.
Thanks for coming.
So we could do maybe a quick rundown about Brenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, do you want to go?
I'll go first.
All right.
So, Brenda moved to this community a few years after I did. We got to know each other through another couple, and we just seemed to click. We had a lot of similar interests. Our kids were the same age. Actually, our oldest daughters are both born on Christmas Eve, a few
Wah,
hours
wah.
apart.
Yeah.
So they're the exact same age, and which was kind of cool when your kids are best friends, and then we're best friends. Although our kids do during the teenage years, they had a little bit of going in different directions of interests, and so like they weren't tight friends, and we said
were
to
worried.
them, we were like, we need you to know that's Brenda and I are still friends. We're still going to be hanging out.
Yeah.
So Brenda and I have we've done well, and then the three of us, we've done a few trips together, and we used to work out a lot together.
Used to being
Yeah.
the main word.
Yeah. We acknowledge that here a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all hang our head in sorrow.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But we are. It is what it is.
But Brenda's also a pretty active member in the community.
Absolutely.
Always volunteering her time, someone you can trust and rely on in the community. She, I don't know if you're going to get into her or not, so I won't do it for you, but has a pretty important role in the community in ensuring that families have what they need, so they can, so everybody can go where they need to go during the day or whatnot. But she's aces as a friend, without
Absolutely.
a doubt.
You
So
guys are awesome.
we're very lucky to have her here today. So Brenda, is there anything that we missed that you might just want to share about yourself?
I am a proud early childhood educator. I do a lot of advocacy work for childcares in the north, and I'm on a bunch of committees to hopefully make that a little bit stronger moving forward.
Awesome.
Perfect. Yeah, maybe just a little bit louder.
Okay.
Brenda's a little quieter than
She's a
Karen
little
and I.
nervous.
My
She's
first
like when she was
time.
like
There
our
you go,
first
there you go.
episode.
Yeah.
But don't be afraid to yell.
Yeah,
We're
and we
good.
want to make sure people are hearing what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
So we were talking in the last segment about menopause and perimenopause, and some of the things that we've run into. Angie read down the whole list of things, of all the symptoms, and it's a joke, something that we've always kind of talked about, like what is not
Sucks.
part of menopause. So
Yeah.
do you want to share anything that you're going through, or how challenges you're dealing with?
My biggest thing is the brain fog.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
I used to be able to keep track of everything without making notes or whatever. Now I've got a series of alarms going off on my phone, and the running joke is at work is if my alarm goes off, do not stop it. You have to pause it because obviously I haven't finished the task. And if you clear it off, I won't do it because it's gone.
Yep.
I used to be a firm believer of making notes and lists and stuff, and if it's not written down, it doesn't get done. I forget what I'm saying halfway through a sentence, whether it's talking
That's a
to
really
you guys,
good one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good
or if
example.
I'm talking to the children, or if I'm trying to have like a professional relationship or conversation with, like, whether it be a parent or a colleague, and you just and then it's like, and then you have to just rewind and start again because it's
Yeah.
No,
awful.
That's a really good one. I find trying to find a word, like one word. Oh my god! And it'll like, and then you don't give up, and so you just sit there and you keep looking. And you feel those people looking at you, and you're like, just use the simpler word. But I don't know what the simpler word is either. So yeah.
So I had a situation of that today where I was in a number of meetings this morning, and I said the same thing in a number of meetings, right? And I had one person who was in all of those meetings, and I looked at her and I said, I feel like I'm, and I'm doing this with my hands, like, what's the word? And she's like repeating herself. I'm like, yeah, but like, what is that? And so she said a few things, and I'm like, no, that's not it. And then the other person that was sitting in the meeting was just looking at me like, what are you talking about? Like, they hadn't been in all the meetings I'd been in that morning, and then my other person was like, and so then anyways, we left, the meeting was done, and about a half an hour later, I'm sitting on my desk, my door is open, and then the word came into my mind, and I yelled, broken record! And so, and then I'm yelling down the hallway, and all I hear is like, okay, Karen. So, yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah. The weight gain is obviously something as well. However, I feel I don't do anything to help that situation. So,
But I mean, it's not like you're out there like eating 4,000 calories a day. Do you know what I mean? Day after day.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we were just lamenting the fact that, because I mean, I know you eat vegetables. Why aren't
haven't been in a while.
You always bring them over when we get together.
That's my excuse.
Yeah, Brenda's always the vegetable tray lady, and it's always delicious. Like, I don't know why her vegetables taste so
Well,
good.
I remember when I had moved out, my girlfriend, we moved in together, and whoever made the salad that night, the opposite person, it was so good. Like, it's the same ingredients,
Yeah.
same things. Why does it taste different when someone else makes it?
That's
But
true.
yes, I do try and make vegetables because everyone else brings like dessert or sweets and greasy food, so we need something to soak up the
We do.
calories.
We do.
So you're doing.
Us
You're
a
a really
favor.
good friend.
Yeah.
Thanks. However, the dips I'm sure aren't very healthy.
Yeah, no, that's true. So brain fog seems to be a really big common thing for us, for sure. Have you had, like I was talking about, I don't get the night sweats per se. Like, I will sweat at night, but I get whole body sweats.
At night,
Anytime,
time.
randomly throughout the day.
I get, like, they start in my feet, and it just like a fireball rushes up through my body, and thank God it's like -40 in our community, because I literally go outside and I'm like fanning my sweater or whatever, and all the staff just giggle at me and say, oh, Brenda's having a hot flash, and they're right. And then I'll come back in and I'll be able to get back to work.
So does it
But
subside after you
it
go
does.
outside?
Yeah, it does. But I don't have them at night, which thank goodness a lot of people do, and they're like, people wake up with their sheets soaking wet, and they have to change them in the middle of the night, which I'm very thankful of that. It hasn't interrupted my sleep, which I know some people have trouble
Oh my
with
God.
sleeping.
There's no way I would be changing sheets in the middle of the night. I'd be just going to the couch. Are you kidding?
Kick
Change the
Roy
sheets.
out. No,
Yeah,
you're
could you
kicking
imagine,
her
Chris?
side.
I need you to get up because we have to change the sheets because I sweat
Oh, I
too
wasn't
much.
even going to go
Oh
there. I
my
was just
God.
kicking them out so I could have his side of the
Oh.
bed.
Yeah, I don't think that would work in my
That was
house
fair.
either.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a hard no.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
imagine changing
but,
sheets, but yeah, go to the couch or a
That-
spare bed.
Fair bad.
Okay, so sweats. When you talk about weight gain
Yes.
and not being as active as you had been or maybe should be, what do you think the main blockades are for you? in terms of
Laziness.
moving? Okay, yeah, I hear you. I'm feeling that.
Yeah, the motivation to get off the couch, right? Like, I could sit there all weekend and think, oh, I could go to the treadmill. but I just hit next episode, and away we go.
Yeah, I love it when Netflix says, "Are you still there?"
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
yes,
I am.
unfortunately, I am. Can we keep this going?
Could
and
you
stuff?
stop shaming me?
Yeah, exactly.
And then I get up in the morning and say, okay, I'm going to do better today. And then I crawl back into bed and say, well, you didn't kick that in the ass very well. But
Doesn't it seem so easy? So I'll think about it the night before. I'll be like, you know what? Okay, tomorrow I'm gonna start. And I think to myself, I've got all these hours after I
Yep.
get home from work or after the rec center, and I'll just simply go downstairs and I'll walk on the treadmill. And then the time comes around and I'm like, oh my god, like that is the most insurmountable mountain
I'm exhausted.
ever. Yeah.
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 And I feel now, and maybe I'm just trying to make excuses for us, but I also feel that I don't like in the past, where I gained weight and I wasn't being active. I didn't find it as hard to find the motivation to get active, to like the cycles a lot of us, I'm speaking for myself, go through where you're in decent shape but you're not really trying to do anything about it because you're in your 20s or your 30s and it just comes naturally, right? And then as you then you maybe gained a bit of weight and then I need to start walking some more, and I never found it as hard. So if I called you, Brenda, and say, do you want to go for a walk? And you said, yeah. And then at that point, I had no way would I be saying, no, that's not.
Yeah.
But like now, if you called and said, do you want to go for a walk? I'd be like, or you could come over and we could have a beer,
Do you just need to talk?
But then I might be willing to say, why don't we go for a walk and then go and have a beer?
Yeah. I don't know.
Which we.
I think that's part of it, in that I don't think it's fair to say it's laziness, because we're not lazy people,
No,
right?
no.
Like, we're active with our kids, with our families, at work. I think if you're to me, to say that we're lazy is not fair to us and people like us.
I agree.
I think it's just harder maybe to conjure the drive. Like I remember saying to Roy, I'm similar to yourself, like up and down in terms of my commitment to fitness or well-being or whatever. But I'd always say to Roy, as no matter how many times I start and fail, it doesn't matter so long as I start again.
Yeah.
But I can't seem to find the drive to start again.
Yeah.
Right? And that's really the big difference.
Yeah.
Because I would always do these ebbs and flows pretty regularly, but I just can't ebb. I'm all flow.
I think this is going to be my next topic conversation with my therapist in my next meeting, because we've kind of broached it a little bit and then we get off track, but it's like, what do I have to do to find that? Now, and I've been going through this coaching, for this life coaching, professional development, and if I was helping somebody else do it, it would all be about, okay, what do you think is an attainable goal? What's one easy thing you could do to get past this hurdle, right? And but I can't do that for myself. I can help other people get there, but I can't do it for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. But even when you were helping me, I didn't do it.
Well, so this is an interesting point, because I have a wellness coach and I have a psychiatrist or a psychologist, whatever. There's so many doctors that I spoke to, right? And then they're like, okay, so follow this app, whatever. It's like mindfulness, and then you got to do this and you got to do that, and you got to work on your negative self-talk. And I understand it all, but now I'm not doing it. So what is it that do I not really want to get better? What, break me down. What is the deal?
Yeah.
What is the deal with
Yeah.
Seinfeld in that situation?
It's true. Genuinely, that's the issue. What is the barrier?
Yeah.
Right? And if we're going to break it down into little steps, it's well, I can't blame the fact that, I have kids, I'm busy, work is really busy, right? I've set some boundaries for myself at work. I'm making sure I have home time, and my kids are old enough now that I don't need to be holding their hands.
Yeah.
They're capable of making their own supper. So why can't I just go out? And I keep thinking, once it warms up, I'll get out and I'll
Once
start
there's
walking.
no more bugs.
Yeah.
Oh, it's raining. Oh, it's cold. Right? And
Yeah.
I think back to when we all got hooked at the boot camp.
Yes.
And now, I do think, and we've talked about
Yeah.
this, but for our listeners, it really was the social aspect, right? There was a
Absolutely.
group of 8 to 9 women who were there regularly. We shot the shit, we worked out hard, had some giggles while you're doing it,
cheered each other on.
And
felt
that's a
good.
And you felt really good.
When you were done,
We started, like, I can remember the first day in the backyard, running through the grass, and it was awful.
Yeah.
But then, and we were only going 2 or 3 days a week at
We were
that
going
point.
at the start. We were doing 2 days a week,
Yeah.
and then we upped it to like what? I think at one stage, because she had our group 2 days a week, and then she had a different group 2 other days a week, and then there was a Saturday one. And I remember picking up the other class and going to Saturdays.
Yep, 100%. We were there, and there was even makeup classes on the Sundays. Sometimes I could be there 7 days a week, and never thought anything of it.
It was
I'd
just
get
an
up,
hour of our time.
and then it was at 7:00 at night. And right now it's at, like, right now it's 7:19, and I'm just like, I'm pretty tired.
Yeah, I can't wait to go home to bed. I've been in bed the last 2 nights at 9 o'clock.
Oh my
right?
God.
I'll say to
That's
Chris, that's
normal
it, I'm
time
heading
for
bed.
me.
Well, I mean, for you.
I start at 6, so
Yeah.
that makes a difference.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I often think, I've got a full gym in the basement, but we'd never be able to get 9 women down there, right? Was it spending money? Because we had to pay for that, but I don't think it was. It was truly
it was so
the
little that
social aspect.
Yeah, because she took, like, what she was charging us was so little, right? Like, I can't say that really was an impact for me, but I think it was the social aspect,
So it's, how do we get a crew back together? Because, there's a gym at this rec center.
Yeah.
Monday nights, though, they do workouts, and we've gone once.
They're doing
And
Friday
yoga.
nights.
I've gone twice,
yoga.
and now they're doing yoga, I heard.
On
Now.
Friday nights. Friday nights is the yoga.
I thought it was Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah,
Oh,
yoga was
okay.
multiple nights, and then...
Yes, but you have to get there early.
Oh, it's very
Sidebar,
cold.
because they do it on the stage. There's not as lot of room.
They were doing it up in the room off the
so maybe
mess.
they've nailed
I
a
saw them
set.
coming out with mats the other day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll try that.
Well-
It's easier, not easier, because yoga's not easy.
No.
But you can dumb it down to your skill level.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a nice way to work into it. Because I really do think if we could just build momentum.
Yeah.
Well, even if we got consistent at 1 day a week, right? Like, and then maybe we could do 2 days a week, and then right, and then maybe by that time it'll be into the spring walks or sledging through the mud or.
Yeah. I remember, like, that summer, there was one summer where I was getting up at like 4:30, and I was walking the 5K before I go to work. And I loved it. It was quiet. I put on my earbuds. I listened to an audiobook or, music. And sometimes when the book wasn't, like, if I was an exciting part of the book, I'd walk around the block to finish it, like, just because I'm like, that's the only time I listen to it. But so now I get up and just go to work.
Go ahead.
I would like to work out in the morning.
Yes.
But with my early start in the day, it makes it a little bit more challenging. And then if one of the staff call and says, they're sick or their child's sick or whatever, then it just pivots me into, like, panic mode and what do I need to navigate that. And so my therapist had said, Brenda, I don't think working out in the morning is good for you. You're going to have to figure out how you can make it work in the afternoon. And I went, okay. However, it's not working out in the afternoon either because I'm tired by the time I get home and I just want to lay on the couch.
Yeah.
I was laughing at Karen's story about walking only because I was thinking back to when we all got our Fitbits and we're having the competition for steps, and they were getting unreal. And I remember, like, marching around my kitchen when I was cooking
And pacing
Roy
in the
being like,
backyard.
what the hell is wrong with you? I'm like, we're in competition mode.
Maybe that's what we need to do.
We all need to get new watches or Fitbits.
Yeah.
Fitbit.
Sponsor us.
Everyone's favorite fitness thing.
Watch.
Well, I remember having a competition with a friend who, I've known through work, and he lives, 12 hours away. And so we were on this Fitbit challenge, and then I was like, it was crazy because I'm like, Dave is so far ahead of me. How is he getting ahead of me, right? He's got an office job, what the hell? And so then I'm walking, I'm barbecuing outside, so I'm walking the length of the driveway, back and forth, and then I check where he's at. I'm ahead of him now. It's like, okay, well, it's 9 o'clock at night. I'm good. And then I look again at 10 as I'm going to bed, and I see he's jumped ahead by like 2,000 steps. So I remember genuinely being on the treadmill right up till midnight, because the switch is over at midnight, just to beat him. And then I found out that he was giving his Fitbit to his little nieces and nephews as they go run around the block.
That's awesome.
Bugger.
Motivated you though.
It did, yeah. So yeah, maybe that's something. You know, we love our games night. We like competing against
Yeah.
each other and talking smack. So maybe we need to
Yeah.
do some kind of competition, whether it's a bet or whether it's something that. And maybe this is something our listeners could help us with.
Yeah.
You know, in the comments, tell us what works for you, what motivates
love to hear
you,
that, yeah.
and maybe do you have any suggestions to help us overcome our barriers and
Success stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear it.
yeah, absolutely.
Right. Do you have any? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I have
think
nothing.
Maybe it's a good place to take a break.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Brenda, you're willing to stick around for our last
I got
part.
nothing else to do.
All right,
Okay.
awesome. Okay, we'll be right back with our special guest, Brenda. Welcome back to part 4 of episode 4 of Two Bored Ladies and a Good Buddy.
Yeah.
we have our friend Brenda with us still. Thankful to her for taking some time out and chatting with us about menopause symptoms, struggles that she's faced, some things that work for her, and sharing some of her personal experiences with us. No doubt that we'll have Brenda on again.
Oh, absolutely.
And so Karen and I were talking about something we wanted to kind of do every time we have a guest on, and it's 2 rando questions.
Yeah.
So Karen and I got to choose a question apiece, and they won't be the same for
Oh my
everybody
God, it's
we
written
have.
down?
Well, I wrote mine down because I don't remember things. Do you remember that part of the
No,
conversation?
because that was 5 minutes ago.
All right.
Okay.
So my question for you is, there it is. If you could have dinner with any fictional character, who would it be and why? And I'll just share with our listeners that Brenda's an avid reader. So I thought that this was a good question for her. But it doesn't have to be from a book. It could be from a TV show. It could be from anywhere.
Oh my goodness, I don't know. Can I pass?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna say, can I say the cast of Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, why?
Yeah, what?
Well, I grew up listening.
Music is a little loud now, so we're gonna have to speak up a little bit.
Okay, I grew up reading Harry Potter, and then I shared it with my kids, and then I love the movies. And I don't know, I like the magic of it all, which I'm sure Karen is going, oh my God, why is that? Because I don't like sci-fi.
Magic is different.
Magic
from
is
sci-fi.
different. And yeah, because usually it's, I like something, just easy to go read to go to bed. But I
Okay,
still
so
watch
if you
it.
had to pick one character.
I was just going to ask.
Sorry,
It's
Angie.
okay.
Probably Dumbledore
Oh, I'm torn about Dumbledore.
or Snape. I don't
Snape,
know,
I'm torn
right?
about
Because
too,
I want to
but yeah.
who would you choose?
Hermione strikes something within me. I love her.
I know, but I felt that that was the obvious answer.
Well, I think a lot of people go with Harry.
Yeah.
Dumbledore, I'm torn because of how he never really gave Harry the full truth, right? And then
Yeah.
put him in those positions where he had to go through all those trials.
And he was the last Horcrux.
Yeah.
Horcrux.
Yes. So yeah.
And
But I
you?
do enjoy it.
I know you're not a Harry
I know
Potter
the kid
fan.
with the slicked back blonde
Malfoy.
hair.
Malfoy.
Yeah, Malfoy.
Yeah.
Get his story. Okay.
He's a Slytherin. All right, geek attack.
Good answer.
Thank you. What's your question?
Okay, so my question, I had, I can't remember, because I didn't write it down, but we were discussing it before we got here, and there was a couple. So this isn't the one, I had a good one earlier in the week, and I forgot it. But so this is my
this is the
backup
backup.
question, right?
Okay.
So it's not as deep and thought-provoking as Angie's. But given that we have traveled, the three of us, a little bit, you and I got to go to Europe with
Yes.
our kids on a school trip,
Fantastic.
and then three of us went to Chicago to watch the Blue Jays. That was a very special week that we had. Excuse me. So, if you had an endless supply of money, right? Money was not an object, and
Perfect.
time was not an object,
Okay.
right? Where would you go in the world that maybe people wouldn't expect you to want to go to?
I want to do the whole Europe thing.
Okay, I
Because
can't
I'm
hear.
so-
This music is getting
So
out of control.
loud.
Like, why are they practicing so loud?
I don't know. Come on, what are we here for?
I would start at one side of Europe and wind my way in and around.
How would you travel? Would you travel by train?
I don't know. Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Oh, good movie.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I would just, if I was more carefree, because as you know, I like to have things planned, written out, and you know what I'm doing the next day and everything. I just like to, maybe we'll hop on the train today, or maybe we'll take the bus. Oh, we have to fly because we have to go over water, or...
Is there any place in Europe particular that you'd really want to go to?
I want to go to Finland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back to Portugal.
Yeah, Portugal was amazing.
Yeah, Jessica and I were talking about that this week. How much we enjoyed Portugal, and she wanted to. One of my staff lived in Portugal, and she wants to travel in her suitcase the next time that she goes back home. I don't know, Italy, Spain, the whole friggin'
It's hard to go. Kit and caboodle?
kit and caboodle.
Hard to go wrong, yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm just
but-
a little disappointed that on
Oh,
the tip of your
no.
tongue was not Ireland.
Well,
Like, a little hurt
that
to
is
your
fair. I also should say Scotland because that's where my family is from.
Scotland, I mean, like Ireland.
Okay, come down.
Yes. When my family went to Ireland and England, for a brief
Oh, here
moment
we go with
last
this
year,
music again.
I was a little jealous that they got to go to Ireland.
Yeah.
And then when you asked me if I wanted to go to Ireland in December, then I had to say no because I had to go home to my parents instead. Although I love my parents very dearly, Ireland was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Next time. We have lots of time.
We do, hopefully. Menopause doesn't.
It might slow us down, but that's all it's going to do.
We won't be as thin on these trips, but
No.
we can go. We can still travel.
Yeah.
110%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Thank you. Thank you
Yes,
for
thank you for having me
humoring
as your
us.
first guest.
Oh, absolutely.
And I would also like to just apologize if we sound wasn't the greatest in some spots tonight, because for some reason Miss Becky has decided to play the music at like
400 decibels.
a little louder than it needs to be.
Yeah.
But whatever, she's the coach, and I guess she thinks she
we're
knows.
here for skating.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I enjoyed watching the skaters this afternoon, but I got
Brenda
here.
used to be a big figure skater.
I did.
Yeah. So how do you think the kids are coming along?
They're doing really well. Their
Yeah.
spins are coming together, and I am hoping to come and see the Winter Carnival. Is that what they're calling it? Down on the farm or
The
whatever?
Down on the Farm show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
March 1st.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's before I go away, so that's really exciting.
Yeah, it should be good. They always put on a great show. Miss Becky does a good job with the
Yeah.
kids, and I guess we should say Miss Jill as well works hard with them on all. And actually, some of the kids, including your child, Lauren, is in charge of some of the groups and creating their performances this year. So that's exciting too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
To
yeah.
see some of the kids who have grown up through the program get to pass along the knowledge and work with the younger kids.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
very, very cool.
Yeah, that's cool. And then a big shout out I think goes to Tara for all the work she's doing on all of those costumes.
Yeah.
She is dedicated, and 3 young kids, and she's still handling
she's
it all.
crushing it,
I feel a
yeah.
little bit of guilt that I do more to help her, but not
Well, we
enough
were
to actually
talking
make
about-
me do.
We were
anything
talking about
that.
you. We were
Good.
talking about you. But, whatever.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
So maybe on that note then, thanks again to Brenda.
Thank you.
And we look forward. I think we have a few continuous weeks in a row
Yeah.
here before anybody is out of town and
Absolutely.
we miss any episodes. So yeah, please continue to listen or watch on YouTube and comment. We love hearing from our listeners.
Absolutely
and,
makes our day.
100%.
Yeah,
And we'll
yeah.
continue to call them out as we can.
Yeah.
And so we'll chat next
Have a
week.
good week, and we still haven't come up with things. So,
Poison. What's our catchphrase for
Oh
tonight?
my goodness, I don't know.
ooh, what was the one from Jim Carrey in The Truman Show? Good night, or
Good night and God bless. No, you did that
that's
one
what that
already.
was. Yeah, that's just my mum's.
That's just my mom's.
I know that's mum and dad's. God bless everything.
Goodbye.
No,
Till
you know
next
the one.
time.
Till
No,
next
I
time.
Howdy's high.
All right, I'll
All
figure
right.
it out and we'll do it next time. Good night.
Write it down.
Angie and Karen want to recognize that this episode was recorded on traditional indigenous lands. This episode was brought to you by In My Parents' Basement Studios, and I hope you guys have a good night.
Hatch plans that we'll never see. Frozen hair and a frosty kiss. In the eyes saw secrets twist. Talking about dreams that